Section 2, Government and Society. Now, when we're talking about the Roman government, there are a lot of separate pieces and they're somewhat complicated, so it might be a good idea to take some notes here. As we talked about in the last section, there was a division between the patricians, the people who were the wealthy nobles of Rome, and the plebeians, the common people, and there was a struggle for power. In order to make everybody happy, the citizens created what was called a tripartite government, meaning that there were three different sections of government, kind of similar to how our government runs with the three different sections as well. For our own personal government, we have the legislative, the executive, and the judicial. The Romans had magistrates, a senate, and assemblies and tribunes. And I'll go through each one one by one. So let's start off with the magistrates. The magistrates were people who were directly elected, and their job was mostly to run the city. And the two most powerful magistrates were known as consuls. And there were always two consuls because they didn't want one person to become more powerful than the other. I guess if you wanted to think about it, how it relates to our own government is our legislative has two parts. It has the House of Representatives and the Senate, and each one has their own speaker. If you want to think about it in terms of how it works with our government, you can think about our House of Representatives in that we have a majority speaker and a minority speaker who represents the majority and the minority, kind of a similar concept. So magistrates are the people who are elected and they run the government, and the two most powerful are known as the consuls. The next division was the Senate, and we have our own Senate in the United States, but it's nothing like Rome's Senate was. Rome's Senate, the senators were basically advisors, and they gave advice to the magistrates about what to do and how to run the government and how to spend the city's money. The thing about magistrates is that once they retired from their job, they often became senators. And so in a lot of ways, the senators held a lot of power over them. Now, the defining difference between the senators of Rome's time and our own senators is our senators are elected. The senators of Rome had a lifetime appointment. So once they were a senator, they were always a senator. And over time, this group of about 300 people became very influential and powerful because they were never voted out of office. Once a senator, you're there till you die. Okay, now, the third and last part of the government were the assemblies and tribunes, and they each had different functions. The assemblies, which were made up of both plebeians and patricians, their job was to elect the magistrates. The second group of people were known as the tribunes, and the tribunes, their job was to use the veto when necessary. And the veto in Latin means to forbid. And basically, it's when you get a group of people who block a new law from coming into power or coming into existence because they feel that this law will be harmful to the people. We have our own vetoes in the United States Congress as well, and it's used quite frequently, especially in recent years, and there's been wide media coverage about that. Now, the people of Rome were expected to participate in government. And certainly, much like the Greeks, not everybody got to vote and participate, but certainly wealthy landowners and people who were popular in the community certainly did. And this is what's known as civic duty. And we still use this term today when we say, oh, you need to vote, you need to volunteer, you need to do things. That's part of your civic duty. It's part of your duty as a citizen to help upkeep your community. Now, this three-part government that Rome created is known as checks and balances, meaning that no one group was more powerful than the other. No group, if I can use some video game terminology, would become overpowered. And that's exactly the same philosophy that we have with our own government. And this is how Rome kept kings from coming into the government and taking complete control. And the people came together and created their laws and debated and what was known as the Roman Forum, which is where the government offices took place. And much like Hammurabi from a much earlier time, The Romans were also famous for writing down their laws and making sure that everybody adhered to them, the most famous of which were known as the Law of 12 Tables, which outlined how Romans were supposed to act and behave and the consequences associated with not doing those things.